anyways, Bernie Sanders pulled up. And so they asked him what he thought about what happened this past election and whether or not the people should be angry about the fact that Democrats failed them and this economy and this administration that's just going out, that's going to be going out on January 20th. If this administration absolutely positively failed at what they were trying to do as far as putting the people first. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Here's Bernie, courtesy of NBC.
Senator Bernie Sanders issued a scathing statement after the vice president's loss in what he called a disastrous campaign, saying, quote, "It should come as no great surprise that a Democratic Party which has abandoned working class people would find that the working class has abandoned them." And Independent Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont joins me now. Senator Sanders, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here on this Sunday after Election Day. Let's start right there. Your criticism incredibly direct. You say you think the Democratic Party has, quote, abandoned the working class. How exactly do you think Democrats have abandoned the working class, Senator?
Look, the working people of this country are extremely angry. They have a right to be angry. In the richest country in the history of the world, today, the people on top are doing phenomenally well, while 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and millions of families worry that their kids are actually going to have a lower standard of living than they do. You got the top 1% owning more wealth than the bottom 90%. We're the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all of our people. 25% of our seniors are trying to live on $15,000 a year or less. We have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth. And the gap between the people on top and everybody else is getting wider and wider. And then, Kristen, on top of all of that, we got a corrupt campaign finance system which allows billionaires to buy elections. So if you're an average worker out there, you're saying, hey, I'm working longer and longer hours, going nowhere in a hurry, worried about my kids, and yet the people on top have never had it so good. Where is the Democratic Party? Are they prepared to stand up to these powerful corporate interests, raise the minimum wage, fight for health care for all people, make sure that all of our kids get the quality education that they need, expand Social Security? Are they prepared to do those things? That's the issue that we have to address.
Well,
listen, Bernie is wrong, as usual. Bernie is out of touch, as usual. I think that Bernie has been under a rock for too long, as usual. And the problem with what he's saying is that everything that he's proposing causes more pain because you're robbing Peter to pay Paul in order to continue to expand all of these programs. So I'll give you an example, right? He's saying expanding healthcare for all. For who? Because the ones that are paying for all of the taxes that goes into it then fund all of the people that's not paying for it. And so basically what he's proposing is for us to have more taxes on people, and they're going to cloak it and say, well, tax the rich. But you guys are the ones that's going to be paying for this, similar to what's happening over in Chicago. You know what happens when this migrant crisis played out in a lot of these places? They said, well, we got to raise property taxes. You're not going to raise income taxes. You're not going to do any of that. The message that he's proposing is the same message that they've been proposing for a long time. They just added on to it. Then they threw on reproductive rights. Then they threw on a bunch of other mess and nonsense that nobody cares. Legalization of weed on the federal level. Nobody cares about that, bro. People want to get back to, because what these Democrats don't understand, including Bernie Sanders, because he's saying that the people have a right to be angry, cool. But they're angry at how things changed so fast, because it wasn't even a gradual decline. It happened it hit y'all like a ton of bricks. And the worst part about it is there's no reason that y'all can even justify it. So the contrast between what was going on in 16, 17, and 18 versus the contrast of what's going on in 21, 22, 23 is vast. It's like night and day. And you can't convince people by saying, well, we're going to continue to give you universal health care. Isn't that what Obamacare is in a sense? You can't convince people by saying, well, we're going to expand Social Security. People are focused on the now. If you can't tap into what people are experiencing right now, then because people don't really even want Social Security. Social Security, I hate to even have this conversation. Social Security is a stopgap. It was created as a result of people that never really had anything, but then you needed government subsidies and government assistance to continue to make sure that you could live your life. So what happened was when they instituted it, it was never going to be fully funded because it's a Ponzi scheme. Social Security is something that we've now instituted into our lives, but it's a Ponzi scheme. And the reason that it's a Ponzi scheme is because you have to rob me at 18 through 70. So for 52 years, you got to rob me to make sure that the person that came before me can be taken care of because they didn't pay into the system. Okay, so now when it becomes my turn, then the Democrats and all of these people are saying, well, we got to make sure that Social Security is funded. So I paid into it all of these years, but I paid into a Ponzi scheme. So nothing is there for me. And what happens is, unfortunately, the people that aren't even born yet, think about that for a second. People that aren't even born yet are, before they come into this country or before they even leave their mama's wombs, are going to be designated to make sure that they're overly taxed to pay for myself and the people that then come after me because A, I really do deserve it because I paid into it, but B, there's nothing else left for me because they took all of the money that I put into it and they gave it to somebody else. So we don't have these fundamental conversations, and I think that we're disrespecting the American people by not being honest with them. The reason why Donald Trump won the election is not just because of his policies. It's also because he's authentic. And whether you like him or you dislike him, what people said was only the Democrats is playing identity politics and they going based off of their feel goods. Republicans or people that voted for a Republican this election says, I don't have to like you. I don't even have to align with what it is that you stand for. And I don't even care if you grab somebody by her crotch. What I care about is whether or not you're going to fix this situation. And the first thing that they use to identify whether or not a politician is telling them the truth is whether or not they're going to be transparent, whether you agree with it or not. So Trump will come in and say, listen, man, they robbing you. Your school systems is shot. The community is broke. Police ain't got enough funding. We need to make sure that we recruit. We need to get these people out of here. We need to stop spending money on it. And so he'll just be real like, listen, you broke, you dusty, you stupid. And at first people are jarred by it and they say, I don't like the way he talk. But then when they get their paycheck at the end of the week, they be like, listen, I didn't like the way he said it, that he made me feel, but at the same time, he kind of right. When I walk down the street, my kid ain't really safe. And the police, when I tried to call them, they didn't really appear. But I remember now y'all said defund the police because y'all was on this identity politics train and y'all rocked out with Black Lives Matters that turned out to be a Marxist organization that robbed y'all and didn't show up inside of y'all neighborhoods. And so these people are out of touch. They're so far removed from what really is supposed to be happening that you can't convince them. They're old, they're busted, they're dusted and disgusted. Nobody cares about tampons inside of somebody's bathroom. Nobody cares about reproductive rights when you can't feed your family. When the majority of the people that are getting unwanted pregnancies removed is people that are operating in poverty anyway, and they don't even care. They don't even show up to the polls. Nobody cares. And so people are angry because they broke. And they not broke because they don't want to work. They're broke because their paycheck don't stretch as far as it used to, and their cultural norms is not allowing for them to live the same life that they was living. And so when they go to the grocery store, they got to get the bare minimum. Listen, I don't know nobody that likes shopping at Dollar General. People shop at Dollar General because they ain't got no choice. Nobody wants to shop at Dollar General, bro. So out of touch.
Well, as you know, your statement was met with some sharp reaction as well. This is what Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi had to say. Take a look. I'll get your reaction on the other side.
Bernie Sanders has not won. Let me, with all due respect, and I have a great deal of respect for him, for what he stands for. But I don't respect him saying that the Democratic Party has abandoned the working class families.
Senator, how do you respond to Nancy Pelosi?
Well, Nancy's a friend of mine, and we've worked together on many issues. But here is the reality. I have to say to Nancy, in the Senate in the last 2 years, we have not even brought forth legislation to raise the minimum wage to a living wage.
Let me also address this minimum wage conversation. Most of these Democrats are lifetime politicians and they don't understand business. They don't. They really don't understand business. You know what the companies did? They cut back. You know what they started leaning into in order to justify the cutbacks? Going over to China. And so they'll manufacture their stuff over to China because they can't pay you the wage to compete in the United States of America. And so what they do is they continue to cut costs, which then cut your wages, which then cut your job roles. And then they automate and everything. And so basically you won't even have a job and you'll have to depend on universal income in order to survive, which will then kill innovation because nobody has any incentive to do anything because they're overly taxed. You see what's happening in California?
Despite the fact that some 20 million people in this country are working for less than $15 an hour. In America today, we have not brought, in the Senate, we have not brought to the floor the PRO Act to make it easier for workers to join $8 at Walmart. Unions. We're not talking about defined benefit pension plans so that our elderly can retire with security. We're not talking about lifting the cap on Social Security so that we can extend the solvency of Social Security and raise benefits. Bottom line, if you're an average working person out there, do you really think that the Democratic Party is going to the mats, taking on powerful special interests and fighting for you?
No,
I think the overwhelming answer is no, and that is what has got to change.
The only thing I agree with.
Senator, let me zoom out and just ask you about these results. You've heard some of the reaction throughout the Democratic Party. How much do you personally blame President Biden for this loss?
President Biden, when he came into office, said that he would be the most progressive president since FDR. And I think on domestic issues, not foreign policy, on domestic issues, he has kept his word, and the agenda that he has pushed through has been an extraordinarily strong one. But that agenda has got to be placed within the overall context of American society today. And that American society today is one in which tens of millions of working families and elderly people are struggling, while the people on top have never had it so good.
But, Senator, should he have gotten out of the race more quickly, as some are arguing?
I'm not going to. I supported him because I think his agenda was a strong agenda, a working class agenda. I'm not going to look backwards. Kamala ran a strong campaign. She did everything that she could. She decisively won the debate. So to me, it's not just about the campaign. It's about what does the Democratic Party stand for? Do ordinary people say, yeah, that is a party that is fighting for my interest and prepared to take on the big money interest who control the economic and political life of the country? That's to me what the issue is.
Yeah, we're talking a lot about the economics. You've talked about how the Democratic Party is out of touch when it comes to economic issues. Some Democrats are saying it's not just economic issues, it's cultural issues as well.
Yep.
Here's what Democratic strategist James Carville had to say.
She's
Take a look.
What killed the Democrats and what killed Biden.
Hold on, wait. This guy's a Democratic strategist? Do he even got teeth on the bottom? Yeah, see, Democrats need to do a whole redo. They got strategists whose collars are still drunk. Look. I don't want to talk to no strategists that got the 1940s headsets on. I don't want to talk to a strategist that got drunk collars. I can't. How are you going to be a Democratic strategist? The strategist should be Anton from AntonDaniels.com. Hey, if y'all want to win next time, send me some money. I need that bag. 40 M's can get it done. I promise you. 40 M's can get it done. No, I don't want to talk to no strategist that ain't under 60. You got to be under 60 to be a strategist nowadays.
Biden was a sense of disorder. And part of the sense of disorder was the unfortunate events of what I would refer to as the woke era.
Has the Democratic Party's focus on identity politics gone too far, Senator?
Let me answer it this way. I think if
y'all said I ain't no sellout though. Since when? Why I ain't no sellout? Y'all don't think I would help the Democrats for $40 million? I ain't saying they're gonna win. I help y'all get a better strategy. Who said that I wasn't no sellout? I just ain't got a high enough offer yet. Look. I don't think that I would sell out, but then when you show me all of them zeros, I might change my mind. If Beyonce can do it, if Meg Thee Stallion can do it, if Glorilla can do it, why y'all hold me to such high standards? Look, at least if I sell y'all out, I'm going to sell y'all out for a high number. I'm going to sell y'all out for a real retirement package. I'm not going to lie to you. If the number is big enough, I might have to take a pause and say, So when y'all say, oh, look, for 40 M's, I'm going to be out there like, oh, reproductive rights is a main issue. Women, look, y'all, we got to do this for the women. When y'all see me jump on this platform in 2032, and I give y'all that wink, and then we start talking about reproductive rights, you know I'm bought and paid for. Right now, you can trust me. Then, in 2032, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how big the bad is. Oh, if I give you that wink, just listen. When you see that thing that go across the bottom of the screen and it say the views and opinions of this platform of Anton doesn't necessarily represent this platform, that means the platform is sold. It's gone. It's gone. Sin, you said hire you? We got to get that 40 million. We got to get that 40 million. Nah, I'm just messing with y'all.
The Democratic Party must.
I'm just messing with y'all. Nah, on the real though, all jokes aside, seriously. I would take a consulting fee to help them change their policies. I would not champion things that the Democratic Party is championing today. I will never, under any circumstance, advocate for eliminating unwanted babies as a form of contraception. That's not an issue that I would stand on. They're going to have to come. I think that the Democrats have to change their complete party. Like, they got to change the things that they stand on. It can't be the Democratic Party of today. It's become so radical. It's become so left. I can't do it for any amount of money. There's nothing that you can give me that would ever get me to change my belief system that would go against what I think spiritually makes the most sense at all. I can't promote something that I knowingly know is going to hurt people. I can't, because at some point, we joke and we laugh and all of that. But at some point, money is not going to change my lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? There's really nothing else that I could really buy, maybe one or two things, but nothing that I need that I could buy that would force me to leave this earth in a worse space had I been here. I'm not going to live for 42 years on this earth and in year 43 compromise everything that I work for just for a couple dollars. Nah, that's not right. God provides for me. Everybody, my people got my back. I'd rather do it independently than stand on something in order to get a bag, because money is just printed. It's not even worth the paper that it's printed on. If you find somebody that's willing to sell you out and their core principles for money, then that's not a person that you want to spend your time around. So we joke a lot, and we laugh and all of that stuff. But honest to God, nah, it don't matter how much it is. Because again, you have to stand on something. It has to be bigger than you. If you getting rewarded for something that you truly believe in, for promoting that, then that's one thing. But if you standing on something because they just simply paid you for it, then I can't do it. I can't do it. So, I know we like to joke and we like to have all of this fun, but what can you give me? I live a great life. I live a phenomenal life. And I believe that the problem with a lot of these Democrats is that they are bought and sold, and so they're not believable, because we don't give humans enough credit for being able to recognize when people are real and when they fake. And that's the problem. And the minute that people start being transparent, and the minute that people start standing for something, then you'll start to see people switch back over into a party because they actually believe in it, and they know that you're not just lying to them in order to get a bag. And we believe that all of these celebrities, either they was a part of the Diddy party trying to get a reprieve, or they got a bag as a result of it, and it's disrespectful. So, nah, I would never, ever, under any circumstance, if they give me a bag to consult them on how they need to be promoting the policies that actually help the people, then that's one thing. But if you're giving me a bag in order to promote something that I don't agree with, I can't do it. I can never do it. It ain't enough money. I don't care if you got $200 billion. That's not going to do nothing for me. If I go to sleep at night and I can't sleep and it bothers me, I can't. Because the first thing that I do is I ask, whenever I'm conflicted about a decision, I'll tell y'all this. Whenever I'm conflicted about a decision, you know what the first thing is that I do? I go and talk to the most innocent person that's in my life. I talk to my daughter. And I don't tell her what I'm thinking or what my decision is. I talk to my 16-year-old and I ask her and I say, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And when she give her thoughts, because she's speaking from an innocent place, she's speaking from an authentic place, that's what I go with. That's what I go with. Whenever I'm conflicted within myself, I go and speak to the most innocent person that I know in my life, and I get their authentic thoughts because they have not been compromised and they have not been bought off, paid, sold, experienced all of the negativity and do anything for $1. And so I speak to her and she gives me the truth. She tells me the honest to God truth. And that's what I go with.